You're with Newsmakers. I'm Mike Yardley. Our guests this week are the Selwyn MP Amy Adams and the Waimakariri MP Clayton Cosgrove. Improving road safety is front and centre in the Safer Journeys document, which puts forward over 60 possible changes to our laws and regulations in a bid to reduce the road toll. We'll just breeze through this very lengthy document with your pet picks. What do you like? What don't you like? Amy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as you say, there's 60 in there, and there's no way the government's going to be implementing all 60. The idea is to put them out there, let everyone have their go, run them all around the paddock, see which ones the people think are going to make the biggest difference. For me, it's about improving the safety of our young drivers. There's still way too many young drivers dying on our roads, and it's about improving the alcohol and drug impairment of our drivers. And of course, for me, being in Selwyn, improving the safety on our rural roads. Those are the things I want to see out of it. There's lots of initiatives around that. Lowering the blood alcohol limit is one I'm sure that will get a lot of air and a lot of discussion. But what the point of it is to say, this is what we've got to do. Here's 60 suggestions. Which ones are going to make a difference? We've got to stop regulating for the sake of it. We need to know that we're doing things that are going to stop us having one of the highest rates of road deaths per capita.
All right, your 60-second wrap.
Oh, I think rural areas are very important in terms, especially around schools, limits on speed limits around that. The alcohol, I agree with Amy, I think the alcohol issue in terms of the limit needs to be looked at very carefully.
So you would be in favour of reducing it?
I want to see some detail, but I wouldn't be opposed to it, to be honest. But I think it should also be looked at in the whole issue of booze and drugs that the Law Commission's put up. But I would make one rather tongue-in-cheek observation from the government who came in and said we're not having nanny state, and then saying we're not going to regulate ourselves on the ground.
Road safety's nanny state, is it?
Well, it was when we did it, because they're proposing, of course, an increase in speed cameras. And you remember on this show, Jerry sat there, and this was all revenue gathering by us. Speed cameras was all revenue gathering. So I think it's worth looking at, but I just make that subtle observation.
Okay, very quick yes or no. The minimum driving age, should it be lifted to 17?
No.
I don't think it should, because you're going to disadvantage people, say, in rural areas who are good kids, who haven't committed an offence, who may not have public transport.
They could be on a motorbike.
Look, the licensing's better than when you and I got it.
Yeah.
At age 15, we ticked the box, filled out the form, the black and white MOT guy took us around the block, and we broke into a cold sweat over the hill start. We were no better drivers then. Now, you can graduate through, learn a licensed offensive driving course, but we shouldn't disadvantage those
kids. It was a yes
kids.
or no question, Clayton.
Well, I'm just taking you back to your roots.
All right.
Did you pass your driving test first time?
Third attempt.
Third attempt.
Third attempt. It was good for me too. By the way, just very quickly, do the penalties for breaching the conditions of a restricted licence need to be beefed up? Yes or no? Clayton, yes or no?
I don't think the they don't work at this point, because you go around and kids just breach it all the time. You've got to change the attitude.
All right. Amy, yes or no?
I think what we've got to beef up is some of those conditions that they're under the restricted, and then if they're not complying with them, then we have to look at the enforcement of them.
Okay. Now, possibly one of the most distasteful stories of the week pertains to Ripper, the dog. This is the Tongan family's dog, who had the misfortune of getting fleas. The family got sick of his fleas, so they decided to have a bit of a cook-up. Should the consumption of dog be illegal in this country? Do we need an express law change to reflect this?
Look, for me, it's distasteful. You can understand why the SPCA is upset. For most New Zealanders, it's just stomach-churning to think of eating what's been a family pet. But we have to accept that this is a cultural issue. And
this is New Zealand, Amy.
It is New Zealand, but people come here, carry on not understanding what our norms are. For me, I don't think law change is the way to go about it. I think we have to educate them and upskill them and let them know what the New Zealand laws are. But when you talk about changing the Animal Welfare Act, the Animal Welfare Act is about the treatment of animals while they're alive, the humane way in which they're killed. We don't start regulating which animals you can eat and which you can't. We haven't done it in the past. I don't think that'd be the way to do it.
Should there be a law change?
I don't think you need to go over the top, but I got offered dog once in the Middle East. I almost turned into a vegetarian, politely sort of declined, but it is pretty repugnant, isn't it? But I think you've got to get to people and say, in this country, we don't do dog.
All right. Indeed.
It's a bumper sticker in there.
Now, to the pick of the week. This week's image was snapped in the departure lounge at Canberra Airport. It has nothing to do with the proposed changes to Trans-Tasman travel. This is a queue of boarding passengers, and it includes two rather interesting-looking characters who were apparently making a statement about climate change. Now, the question...
That looks like Jerry.
It does a bit. Would you willingly board a plane with these kind of customers? The suits ahead of them, as you can see, seem completely oblivious. This was Australia, of course. Now, the NewsMakers poll, this week's question is coming up shortly. Just the results to last week's question. Should the Prestons Road development be supported? 44% said yes, 56% no. Pretty tight stuff. The prize winner was R. Haynes. This week's question, should part charges apply to ACC Physio? Vote yes or no. Email newsmakers@ctv.co.nz. You can vote on the web, mikeyardley.com, or you can post your vote to PO Box 1100 Christchurch. Do so and you'll be in to win these goodies, the gift card from Pack and Save Morehouse Ave and the Cafe La Fare coffee. Good luck. Your score time prediction, All Blacks Wallabies.
18-12 All Blacks.
Nice. Amy?
24-17 All Blacks.
Very nice. And we wish the All Blacks all the best. And Ted. Thank you very much to our panel. Thank you for joining us. Dr. Rod Carr from Canterbury University is with us for a special edition of Newsmakers on Tuesday night. Of course, the Conservatorium is one of many issues for Rod Carr. I hope you can join us. Enjoy your weekend. Good night.